Hey guys, Belzelga here. Today I've got something slightly different to offer. You might have noticed the infrequent updates over the last few weeks. Well, that's because of this, archaeology. Since late June I've been involved with several projects, working roughly 50 hours a week, so I haven't had that much time or energy to play DayZ. So in order to make it up to you, I took a few pictures of some excavations and showed them to you. So as you might have seen with the excavator, firstly, some topsoil is removed in order to get to the archaeological traces in the ground. They get marked and numbered, which roughly looks like this. Sometimes you're lucky enough to get an entire structure in one of your trenches. What we're looking at here is a storage shed with 6 poles and a trash pit in the middle. This storage shed was dated to the Iron Age, which makes it roughly 2000 to 3000 years old. After documentation, the traces get dug in half in order to see how deep the poles went. Here we see a nice uniformity in both shape and depth, which strengthened the theory that the poles belong to the same structure. Usually these storage sheds were meant to store stuff like grain. This is roughly what it might have looked like, only with 2 more poles. What we're looking at here probably was a well, which was filled back in with rubble and sand when it was no longer needed. The 4 poles around the well indicated it was probably roofed at a certain point. In the well, this spindle whorl was recovered and dated to the Iron Age as well. This whorl was used to increase the velocity of the spin. Another thing we found in the well were rather large pieces of pottery, also dating back to the Iron Age. After digitally documenting every ground trace, we were able to indicate a few discrete structures. Within the red square you can see a late bronze / early Iron Age farmhouse. This is what the farmhouse roughly might have looked like, accompanied with the storage shed, which usually go hand in hand. What you're seeing here is a well from the Roman period. Usually wood doesn't keep this long in sandy environments, but this well was dug so deep that it reached below the groundwater levels so that the bottom bits of wood got preserved. The big indicator of this well being Roman was this single shirt, a bit of terra sigillata, common Roman pottery. Another cool thing we've lifted from the well was this repurposed paddle, showing that the previous inhabitants were very much into recycling. This is a piece of Iron Age pottery with its rims and belly still present, which leads to a very easy determination of the so-called Ruiner-Wommels 1 type. Here's the accompanying base of that pot. Because of the defining characteristics still intact, I can tell you that the pot would have looked something like this when still intact roughly 3000 years ago. This is a very old piece of pottery from the Bronze Age, which means it's roughly 4000 plus years old. The decoration indicated that it's part of a barbed wire ceramics group. The full form might have looked something like this. One of the cooler bits of pottery was this piece. The vertical imprints were made by using fingernails. This means you're looking at roughly 4000-year-old fingernail imprints, which at least to me is very awesome to look at. Here we see a full Bronze Age pot with similar decoration. We also find a few bits and pieces of flint. This one was probably a leftover from working a larger chunk of flint. This piece, however, had more defining features and probably dates back to the late Paleolithic, which makes it around 13,000 years old. These last 2 images are 2 pictures that remind us archaeologists of the fact that we have a profession made up out of other people's loss and junk. What is junk today or 50 years ago might be very valuable to archaeologists in 200 years. So here we see a recently buried dog skull. Sand deteriorates bone material in a matter of years, so the dog was probably buried less than 5 years ago. Here we see a pan from the 50s, junk to us now, but who knows, in the future archaeologists might be very happy with a find like this. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think about content like this and maybe I'll make some more in the future. And see you guys next time.